I love like antiques and I think it's neat and nice, but there are some objects when you look at them, you're like, I think that's haunted. It's gotta be. It's fun even to pretend, right? So I have a Victorian hand mirror, which I always tell people, if you hold it up and look in it, over your shoulder, you'll see a ghost. It's never happened, but I'm waiting because of maybe. All kinds of crazy things. But my curio of haunted objects is what I call it. Hi, I'm José Reyes. I am a clinical assistant professor of audiology in speech language hearing sciences.
What's your favorite music genre?
It kind of varies. I really love a lot of electronic music, dark wave music, little gothy stuff, singer-songwriter, all the way to piano and guitar. What else? Electronic dance music, electronic body music, things like that, a little industrial influence. So I don't often get asked to put on the playlist because it's just crazy, so.
What's one app on your phone that you can't live without?
I would have to say my sound level meter app.
Oh.
I like to know what's going on sound-wise around me pretty much at all times.
Is there one thing that people think might not be as loud as it actually is?
Ooh, yes. So one of the things that people really underestimate is their headphones. When we think about loudness, we're actually thinking about the bass. And what we know is that bass is a little less dangerous for hearing than high pitches. So here's what happens. You put some headphones on that don't plug your ears or cover them, the bass sounds will leak out. They just leak out and you can't hear them as well, but that's what people want to hear. So they turn up the bass, they turn up the volume, and now they can hear it. But the dangerous sounds, the high pitches also went up. And so now it might be dangerous levels for their hearing. So you gotta watch out for that for sure.
Can you tell me a little bit about what sparked your interest in audiology?
Sure. Yeah, so I originally was pre-med. When I was an undergrad and I was interested in becoming a physician. And so I found communication sciences and disorders as a major. And I said, well, you know what? That actually would be a great jumping off point into medical school. So let's do that. That was my major. And as I was exposed to the material, I really learned about what does it mean to be a speech language pathologist? What is it that they do? What do audiologists do? And I really just found that audiology was just fascinating because it's not just about ears, it's about communication and knowing about how hearing and communication interact, hearing and language interact, and then how people form community, right, around hearing differences. It just really struck me as this is different. You really get to interact with people in such a different way than kind of more medical, fields. And being a clinician just really spoke to me as a way to invest in people that was not one I had considered.
So this is a question from a follower. What's been your favorite moment with a kid patient?
There's so many good ones. Well, I was practicing in Philadelphia, and Philadelphia is famous for a variety of things, and one of those things came to play during this visit. A young patient, probably around 3 or 4, and we were doing some hearing testing and interacting with him. I was noticing that some of the ways he pronounced words was not quite age appropriate. I wanted to really talk to the family about what they noticed in terms of his speech and language. They're the experts in him, so I'm gonna ask them. And I said, I noticed that he's pronouncing things a little bit differently. Is that something that you notice? And the mom went, no. He can speak totally clearly. He's using his Rocky voice. And I said, his Rocky voice? And she's like, yeah, Rocky Balboa from the Rocky movies. And then I realized he was wearing a Rocky t-shirt and had a Rocky action figure. And he was like, come on. And so that was an amazing moment for me because it was just this very Philly moment and just adorable. It just was so fun to interact with that and learn about, the local lore, so.
What do you enjoy most about teaching at UF?
My favorite part of teaching at UF is office hours.
That's
kind of
such
funny.
an unexpected answer.
It's kind of funny. I really love office hours because it is dedicated time to work with one-on-one or a small group to really meet their needs. And so I love teaching. I love being in a classroom. I really, really do. Absolutely. I love the creativity, things like that. Office hours to me reminds me of being a clinician. Someone's coming with a specific worry, concern, question. I don't limit what people bring to office hours. If they have a content question, super. If they want to know about applying to grad school, perfect. If they just want a story from my life that I feel comfortable sharing, then I'll share it. It's an opportunity for connection and sometimes reveals things that I could change in the classroom. So if somebody doesn't understand something, I might come up with an example in that moment that, why didn't I use that in class, right? So I'm gonna bring that there. Or, that's a hot tip on grad school that I had just this moment. I'm gonna make sure to share that in class. I really find a lot of value in that, and I really love that as part of being an instructor, being a teacher.
Okay, and what's one piece of advice that you'd like to give your students?
My best advice is to think about content conceptually and not in isolation. It's really easy to fall into the memorization trap. Instead of thinking about what is the definition of this, think about how it's defined, what it's related to, and what it would mean in real life. If you had a hearing test and you can interpret the results, that's neat. But what does it mean for someone's actual real life? If they can't hear high frequency sounds, which sounds within language would be hard for them to hear? That's more meaningful than just saying, oh, this person has some hearing differences. If we can say that hearing difference relates to this experience in life, that's gonna go a lot further. And that's true of any profession.
Anything else that you'd like to promote while you're in the hammock?
Yeah, I'd like to promote my office hours. I have online and in-person office hours. You can book through the Canvas site. You don't even have to email, just go right there. There's a link, reserve a time slot, pops up on your calendar and mine, and we'll have a chat.
Awesome.